Intriguing revelation. What if the secret to a flourishing relationship lies not in clinging tightly, but in understanding the subtle dance between secure attachment and avoidant attachment? Welcome to Secure Attachment versus Avoidant Attachment, How to Tell the Difference. Today, we embark on a journey into the heart of human connection, a journey that reveals why some relationships bloom effortlessly while others falter under the weight of miscommunication and misunderstood needs. Picture, if you will, the secure partner. Imagine an individual who moves through life with a quiet confidence, whose emotional stability is like a gentle stream, calm, consistent, and soothing. Secure attachment is the bedrock of healthy relationships. From childhood, secure individuals experienced caregivers who not only met their physical needs, but also nurtured their emotional well-being. They learned that vulnerability was not a weakness, but a doorway to deeper connection. In their relationships, secure partners offer unwavering support, listen with empathy, and express affection openly. Their love is both tender and resilient, allowing for closeness without the fear of losing themselves. Now, contrast that with the avoidant partner. Picture someone whose early experiences taught them that intimacy could be risky, a lesson learned in moments when emotional needs were dismissed with a shrug or met with cool indifference. Avoidant individuals often grow up feeling that reliance on others is fraught with danger, and so they build walls to protect their fragile inner world. They prize independence and autonomy above all, and though they might exude charisma and self-sufficiency, they also tend to retreat when faced with emotional demands. Their relationships often start with an air of mystery and excitement, only to gradually devolve into a cycle of distancing and withdrawal when the inevitable need for emotional depth arises. I remember a fascinating case from my early years of practice. There was a gentleman, let's call him Edward, whose friends admired his impeccable self-reliance and sharp intellect. Edward was the embodiment of avoidant attachment. He had mastered the art of appearing detached, of maintaining a cool composure even in the midst of emotional storms. Yet those closest to him quietly lamented that he never truly allowed himself to be vulnerable. He would listen to his partner's heartfelt confessions, but his responses were invariably clinical, as if he were merely cataloging data rather than sharing a genuine emotional reaction. This pattern created a chasm, a silent distance that left his partner feeling unvalued and alone. Edward, in his quest to protect his independence, inadvertently sabotaged the intimacy that so many of us yearn for. But why do these differences exist? The answer lies deep in our early experiences. Secure attachment is nurtured when caregivers respond to a child's emotional needs with warmth and consistency. The child learns that expressing feelings, be they joy, sadness, or anger, is not only safe but welcomed. Over time, this builds a robust internal sense of security. In contrast, those with an avoidant attachment style often come from environments where emotional expression was either dismissed or met with discomfort. They learn early on that the best way to avoid pain is to keep their feelings to themselves. Over the years, this self-reliance evolves into a protective strategy, a way of preserving freedom by keeping others at arm's length. Now, it is important to understand that these attachment styles are not fixed labels that define us forever. They exist on a spectrum. Some people might predominantly exhibit secure traits, but, under stress, display a touch of anxious clinginess or even a hint of avoidance. Others might primarily be avoidant yet still have moments of longing for connection. Recognizing these nuances is essential because it means that with awareness and effort, we can shift towards more secure patterns of relating. One of the most valuable tools in this journey is honest self-reflection. Ask yourself, what messages did I receive as a child about vulnerability and closeness? Did I learn to embrace emotional expression, or did I learn to shroud my feelings in silence? For those who lean towards avoidant attachment, it can be liberating to acknowledge that your guardedness is not a flaw, but a survival mechanism born out of necessity. By understanding this, you pave the way for gradual change, a shift from self-imposed isolation to a more balanced state where independence and intimacy coexist harmoniously. Let us consider another illustrative story. There was a woman, Margaret, whose relationships were often marked by a persistent push-pull dynamic. Margaret longed for closeness and validation, yet she found herself repeatedly drawn to partners who were emotionally distant. In her early relationships, her partners would promise the stars and deliver only fragments of affection. Over time, Margaret began to recognize a pattern. She was not so much chasing love as she was entangled in the gravitational pull of avoidant behavior. With the help of a compassionate therapist, Margaret started to explore her own attachment style and learned that her need for validation sometimes led her to misinterpret a partner's healthy desire for space as a personal rejection. This awareness empowered her to set healthier boundaries and eventually to seek relationships that honored both her need for connection and her partner's need for independence. For the avoidant individual, the challenge is to create space for emotional intimacy without feeling overwhelmed by the fear of losing oneself. One effective strategy is to practice incremental vulnerability. Start by sharing small pieces of your inner world, perhaps a fleeting thought or a minor disappointment, and observe the response. Over time, as you build confidence in the safety of sharing, you can gradually open up further. This process is akin to dipping your toe into a cool stream, rather than plunging into turbulent waters all at once. It is a slow, deliberate journey toward letting others in, without sacrificing the cherished freedom of self-reliance. Communication, too, plays a pivotal role. In secure relationships, partners engage in open, empathetic dialogues where both parties feel heard and valued. If you lean towards an avoidant style, you might find it challenging to express your emotions directly, perhaps defaulting to practical solutions instead of sharing your inner experiences. However, consider this. Sometimes, the most profound connections are forged not through problem-solving, but through the simple act of listening. When your partner speaks of their feelings, try to set aside your instinct to fix the situation immediately. Instead, focus on understanding their emotional landscape. This not only validates their experience, but also creates an environment where both of you can gradually bridge the gap between independence and intimacy. It is also crucial to recognize that a truly healthy relationship is not about merging into one another completely. Rather, it is about forging a partnership where each individual maintains their sense of self while contributing to a shared life. Think of it as a duet, where both performers retain their distinct melodies, yet harmonize beautifully together. This balance is the hallmark of secure attachment, a state where closeness does not equate to confinement, and independence is celebrated rather than feared. I once witnessed a couple who exemplified this balance. The gentleman, a quintessential avoidant, cherished his solitary pursuits, long walks at dawn, quiet moments with a book, yet he also recognized the importance of emotional connection. His partner, equally independent, encouraged him to share these moments with her, not by demanding constant togetherness, but by appreciating the beauty of their occasional union. They established rituals, a weekly date night, a morning coffee together, moments where they would simply be present with one another. Over time, these small acts of connection wove a tapestry of trust and intimacy that allowed both of them to flourish individually and as a couple. As we conclude our exploration of secure attachment versus avoidant attachment, how to tell the difference, remember that understanding these dynamics is the first step toward cultivating healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Whether you find yourself drawn to the comforting stability of secure attachment or recognize the familiar pull of avoidant tendencies within yourself, there is hope. By embracing self-reflection, validating your needs, and engaging in empathetic communication, you can transform the way you connect with others. May this journey inspire you to seek balance in your relationships, to honor both your need for freedom and your desire for intimacy. Know that every step you take toward understanding your attachment style is a step toward building a relationship that is both secure and liberating. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. May you find the clarity and courage to create connections that not only support, but also elevate you.
If you believe this video might help someone dear to you, share it with them. A small gesture on your part could mean the world to a friend in need.